What if the tech world's obsession with AI and the singularity is nothing more than a modern-day religious movement? On today's episode, we're going to explore how Silicon Valley's vision of technological salvation mirrors ancient religious beliefs. Now stay tuned to the end, and I'm going to tell you my own experience with confronting lethal religious fanaticism and where I think that this is going to take us. I'm Evan Goldstein. I'm a licensed professional engineer and a data scientist. I'm building the AI Capitalist channel to talk to the leaders and thinkers like you about navigating this new world of intelligent machines. When I look back at history, I've always been captivated by the Middle Ages. What I find really fascinating about this time is how people seem to embrace human nature without much hesitation. Events that unfolded back then were often accepted as they were, like a barbarian invasion or the church burning heretics, or nobles oppressing the poor, which was just part of life and they did it openly. It's intriguing to think about how many of those same themes still exist today, sometimes on an even larger scale. But in our modern world, we tend to dress these issues up in a different light. What we call barbarian invaders might be more like ISIS, while intolerance can be seen as cancel culture. Despite all of our window dressing of a welfare state and subsidies, the poverty rate has been unmoved since the Great Society programs were first initiated, and the struggles of the poor persist. Today's society mirrors a lot of what history taught us, often with graver consequences. But we like to think of our actions as somehow distinct or justified. For instance, today's gig economy workers often face working conditions reminiscent of day laborers from the Victorian era. Uncertain hours, no benefits, and living paycheck to paycheck. And we just wrap it up in the glossy veneer of Silicon Valley terminology about flexibility and being your own boss. The tech world today mirrors the medieval monastic orders, small elite groups whose mastery of writing, mathematics, record-keeping gave them extraordinary influence over their society. Just as these monastic scribes controlled the flow of knowledge and commerce through their monopoly on literacy and documentation, a handful of tech companies now shape the daily reality of billions of people. Consider how a small team at OpenAI can influence global AI policy, or how decisions made by Meta's leadership affect the social connections of nearly 3 billion users. Even more telling is just two companies, Apple and Google, effectively control what apps most of the world can access through their mobile devices. Like the monastery dwellers who lived by their own distinct rhythms and rules, these tech elites exist in a cultural bubble, one where 80-hour work weeks are normalized, where failure is celebrated as a badge of honor, and where moving fast and breaking things is valued over careful consideration of societal impact. Their vernacular, their lifestyle, their worldview have become as removed from ordinary experience as Latin was from the medieval peasant's daily speech. There was a time, particularly back in the 1950s, when optimism about technology was everywhere. People dreamed about future advancements like the cool gadgets that would make life so much easier. But today, that hopeful perspective seems to have faded away for many. When you chat with someone about technology, they often jump straight to concerns about dystopian futures that mirror the dark scenarios depicted in shows like Black Mirror, a television series that explores how advanced technologies could go terribly wrong, showing worlds where social media ratings determine your social status, where memory implants destroy relationships, or where AI-powered surveillance systems trap people in technological nightmares. And this shift reflects a growing belief that the new tech exists primarily to exploit us. Despite these worries, we all still hungrily devour whatever technology comes out of Silicon Valley. It's truly surprising how quickly people have embraced AI and integrated it into their lives. It seems that for many, the connection with the technology can often feel stronger than with the people that they interact with in real life. Gen Z spends an average of 7 hours a day on their phone. At the same time, this shift has sparked quite a bit of frustration among ordinary people. A lot of people feel a bit lost in this new digital world. It can feel lonely, impersonal, and even a little bit overwhelming. The screens can be super addictive, almost like a substance that we can't seem to shake off. It's like digitization has accidentally steamrolled the middle class, leading us into one of the biggest challenges in history, all while keeping a close watch on our lives. I have some great friends in tech, and it's just an interesting experience chatting with them. They're always buzzing about the incredible power of the tech industry and the exciting new innovations just over the horizon. But I often find myself wondering how long the public will put up with this kind of radical change. Now that said, I'd like to put forward that tech has evolved into something like a new form of religion, not just a strong social force. It's fascinating to hear these tech enthusiasts express deep-seated beliefs that technology could lead us to a kind of utopia. It might sound a bit wild to outsiders, but within the tech community, there's this hidden belief that we stand on the brink of an unprecedented breakthrough that could change everything. Now, this notion resonates with many leading figures in tech, whether it's Mark Zuckerberg, or Sam Altman, or Elon Musk. They talk about something called the singularity, a point where artificial intelligence will grow at such a rapid pace that it could transform history itself, leading us into a whole new chapter. What is the singularity? The term technological singularity comes from the world of mathematics, where a singularity is a point where a function becomes undefined or infinite. When we apply this idea to technology, it refers to a fascinating moment in the future when technological advancements happen so quickly and profoundly that it becomes nearly impossible for us, as humans today, to fully grasp or anticipate what might come next. This concept, made popular by thinkers like Werner Vinge and Ray Kurzweil, suggests that once artificial intelligence reaches a level comparable to human intelligence, it will rapidly outpace us and start to improve itself at an astonishing rate. How do Silicon Valley's promises of technological salvation mirror traditional religious beliefs, though? While the tech leaders are certainly excited about their groundbreaking inventions, it's interesting to notice just how closely the ideas surrounding the singularity mirror traditional religious beliefs, especially the Christian beliefs that founded the culture that these developments are springing from. Now, this connection highlights the timeless human hopes and concerns that still play a big role in how we imagine the future. Just like traditional religions promise their followers a way to achieve eternal life and rise above human weakness through God's divine help and blessing, people who believe in the singularity see advanced technology as their path to transcendence. While Christianity offers the promise of eternal life through spiritual salvations, singularitarians talk about the intriguing possibilities of digital immortality through uploading or extending life significantly with cutting-edge biotechnology. Both perspectives tap into our shared human desire to conquer death and to seek a higher, more elevated state of existence. The singularity bears striking resemblances to how religions, particularly Christianity, view the end of the world and humanity's ultimate destiny. Christian eschatology, which comes from the Greek words eschatos, meaning last, and logos, meaning study, represents a branch of religious thought focusing on humanity's final destiny and the events that will mark the end of history. In the Christian tradition, this includes beliefs about the second coming and the final judgments of all souls and the establishment of God's kingdom on earth. Much like the narratives found in religious texts about the end times, it splits history into two clear parts: what came before and what follows this transformative event. Now, for Jews like me, this was the revelation of the Torah, the divine will of God at Mount Sinai. But this relates to the Christian idea of history being marked by the second coming, where both viewpoints promise an exciting and radical change in the way that we understand human existence. Many religious traditions offer the hope of gaining perfect divine knowledge and judgment. In a similar vein, those who support the idea of the singularity imagine super intelligent AI systems that could make nearly flawless decisions and process information with incredible accuracy. This reveals a common human aspiration to transcend our own limitations and tap into deeper truths and insights. But what connects the tech monks of Silicon Valley to their medieval predecessors? So one of the most interesting aspects of our journey through time is how medieval Christian ideas about technology connect to today's singularity theory. Back in the medieval monasteries, monks embraced the motto ora et labora, prayer and work, believing that advancements in technology could boost spiritual growth. These monks viewed technology as a way to help humanity regain its original state of perfection before the fall, setting the stage for how Western thought has evolved over the centuries regarding the relationship between technology and progress. The idea that technological progress goes hand in hand with moral and spiritual growth has inspired countless thinkers over the centuries. It's fascinating to see how this thread connects Christian theologians of the past with Renaissance scholars, and even with today's singularity theorists. While the religious nuances of technological utopianism have evolved, they haven't vanished. They've just been reinterpreted and presented in ways that resonate with our contemporary perspective. So how is this quasi-religious devotion to technology shaping our world today? Well, today's tech leaders in Silicon Valley, whether they realize it or not, are tapping into an age-old religious idea when they talk about AI as a potential way to transform or save humanity. Their vision of super-intelligent AI often resembles traditional concepts of all-knowing beings, almost like a deity that could either uplift us or cause chaos depending on how we approach it. This kind of thinking has real consequences for how we create and use AI technology. When we see technological advancements as inherently aligned with moral progress, a perspective that traces back to medieval Christian thought, it can lead us to overlook some of the potential drawbacks of new technology. Believers in the religion of technology view the concept of the singularity as an imminent event that might completely reshape our future in ways we can hardly fathom. As someone who enjoys diving into history, I can't help but smile at how human behavior tends to repeat itself through the ages. These patterns are deeply rooted in us, and people interpret them based on the beliefs of their time. Many tech enthusiasts see the singularity akin to a kind of spiritual awakening, which is kind of funny because they often view traditional religions as old-fashioned. In a way, they've embraced a new belief system without even realizing it. A recurring theme in these beliefs is the curious lack of self-awareness. Their actions often betray fundamental human instincts hidden beneath their shiny surface of modern ideals, and sometimes they don't even recognize it. Artificial intelligence is definitely on the brink of making a huge impact in our world. There's absolutely no doubt about that, but believing that it will revolutionize every single aspect of humanity seems a bit naive. Just think back to key inventions in history, like the Industrial Revolution, agriculture, metalworking, or even nuclear technology. While they changed certain variables, many of the complexities of human nature and competition remained constant. The notion that suffering and rivalry simply disappeared because of any technological breakthrough is a little far-fetched. Now, what effect is this belief going to have on us? We often see tech titans believing that they hold the power to reshape society. Mark Zuckerberg envisions a new reality through virtual realms, while Elon Musk develops Neuralink to counteract the potential threats of AI. On the fringes, there are voices in the crypto space like Sam Altman who propose replacing humanity itself with machines, reflecting a widespread desire among some tech enthusiasts to create a better version of humanity. Utopian ideologies have been tested time and again, and almost always lead to chaos rather than harmony. What's more, the tech industry is often filled with individuals who seem to disregard context, human nature, and the sanctity of natural ecosystems, venturing to dismantle everything in their path. And this lack of regard for human dignity echoes the traits exhibited by history's most notorious totalitarians, who also had little reverence for human life. Despite this, technology embodies a dual nature. It possesses incredible potential to foster positive change. The internet, for instance, is a formidable tool for combating the surge of authoritarianism worldwide, enabling unprecedented levels of communication and cooperation outside of government control. This is the new populist realm crafted by the internet, liberating us from the reliance of elite curated media, which is why I'm making it a capitalist. And if you feel you're getting value from this episode, I would appreciate it if you would push the like button. Pushing like lets me know that I'm making content you want to see, and it spreads it to others. Together, we're going to build this into a real channel, break out of small channel hell. So within the tech world, there's unmatched creativity and innovation poised to transform society. The decentralized nature of technology allows it to emerge from any corner of the globe, as we've seen with innovations from places like Tel Aviv and El Salvador. Ultimately, the landscape of technology is split between centralized and decentralized systems. Centralized technology often serves as instruments of authoritarian control, stifling creativity, as is illustrated by examples from China or the World Economic Forum, where machine worship merges with leftist ideologies. It's interesting to note that capitalism, which thrived in Western Europe and North America, has been so rare throughout history, partly because it's all too easy for governments to team up with the masses and take advantage of capitalists and basically take their stuff. This has happened more times than we can count. The ideals that are often championed by the tech industry tend to miss the mark. I frequently notice that what's on the radar for many in tech isn't necessarily what the average person desires. Instead, it often seems about expanding their own influence. The vision that technology will create a perfect world may not actually pan out. It's unlikely that the so-called singularity will happen. And if it does, its outcomes might not be what we hope for. The idea that we can simply engineer our way past human nature is a flawed idea. It's been tried already. Creativity in tech has also experienced a downturn in recent years, and there's still a level of innovation present, but it feels like there's been a significant drop-off in new ideas over the last decade, along with a decline in independent thinking. San Francisco was once a hub of creativity, but now it feels like a less and less free-thinking place. For tech to truly thrive, it seems essential for it to focus on smaller-scale innovations and meaningful inventions. Tech has huge potential to thrive, but they need to align themselves with greater human purpose, rather than just simply rationalizing a thirst for power. In a society that often lacks creativity and excitement, tech stands out as the beacon of innovation. If we lose that spark, we might risk drifting into another period of stagnation. So how did the singularity derive its values from Jewish and Christian values? I'm not always comfortable with the terminology of America and the West being Judeo-Christian. The two have a lot of core beliefs in common. One of those is a belief in history as a story of progress and growth in an upward direction. Eastern religions tend to view history as static, and your role in life is to find your place in the flow of the universe and fulfill it. But where Judaism and Christianity differ, the West always goes for the Christian belief. Jews like me who want to hold on to our own spiritual inheritance have to learn to maneuver in this environment. But I think it does give me some good perspective on Christianity. I would say that Marxism, as well as what I'm calling the cult of the singularity, seem to be spin-offs of Christianity. in the sense that they share Christianity's and Judaism's ideas of progress, the continual improvement of the human condition, and the equality of man, or all human beings. But they believe these things without actually understanding the Jewish and Christian roots that these values are derived from. When I was studying in yeshiva, which is a Jewish religious seminary, and I was in Jerusalem, many of my teachers were people who formerly had lives in the secular world. They were always lauded for their mesirat nefesh, that's Hebrew for their self-sacrifice. They would tell me that my Talmud teacher was on the path to becoming a great mathematician, but instead he decided to change the course of his life and spend his life studying and teaching spiritual concepts. My teacher of Hashkafa, which is Jewish religious philosophy and worldview, had been a very successful stock trader who gave up his hedge fund and now lives in a shack with his family in abject poverty, all so that he could spend his days teaching and learning. During my time in Jerusalem, I was also exposed to the ravages of a bombing campaign where the attackers would take their own lives in the process. It nearly cost me my own life on several occasions, and mixed in with my feelings of relief for surviving those atrocities, sadness at the losses, and loathing of the wicked cause that the killers were fighting for, I have to say that I was impressed with the level of self-sacrifice that their faith had inspired, even though it was directed towards evil ends. What the cult of the singularity lacks, that Judaism and Christianity and Islam have, is the ability to inspire self-sacrifice. The singularity was spawned by the wealthiest people in the world living in the most comfortable place in the world, Silicon Valley, living lives without deprivation, without real lethal challenges. They've never experienced true discomfort, nor have they ever been faced with a very real threat to their own existence. The technology that the cult of the singularity has developed is contributing to a coming internal conflict in the West. And you can see my episode about how AI is driving us towards civil war in this episode. When the conflict becomes more than just essays and YouTube videos like this one, does the cult of the singularity have the ability to inspire its followers to absorb and take risks, real lethal risks? I don't think it does. But what's more likely is that on the other side of the big burn that's coming, some of the core technologist beliefs are likely to be absorbed into a more revamped and technologically advanced form of Christianity, and then the West can move forward. Don't stop now. I have dozens more videos. This video is part of a playlist, which I'll post for you here so that you can go through and watch other videos that are similar, or you can watch our newest videos, and we have lots of other playlists. So keep clicking, keep watching. Click over there, right there.